Net feel to it. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Trae Young in street clothes. Bad left knee, bad right ankle. Series is tied at 2. We are actually in Milwaukee. Trae Young missed game 4, trying to get some work in, loosen up, had some pain, not going to go. We'll see what happens for game 6. Bucks go out quick. Remember, they were terrible starting in Atlanta the other night, have an 11-point lead, missed shot, scrappy, running the floor. Drew Holiday, Bobby Portis, he's all up in there with 2 hands. Minute later, here we go again. Holiday lobs one up. Look at Splash Mountain come down. Stay, you don't need to be out there for 3. You're big. Go inside. There he is again in the painted area. First half, Bucks 28 points in the paint. Hawks had 22. Total, Bucks up big after 1. They were up 9 at the half. Third quarter, Chris Middleton putting a hurt on Kevin Huerter. Minute later, it's a 9. Give me Lopez down low again. And the foul, and look at the soft touch. He knows those 5-serve forearm rims better than anybody. Bucks up by a dozen. Giannis, he's counting them, counted up for 3. Bobby Portis, post up Huerter. Pig Sooie, look at him come through with a bucket. Bucks led by 13 after 3, and then they're pushing it out in the 4th. 15-point lead, give me Chris Middleton. Middleton had 26 in this game. There it is, soft from the top of the key, and Trae Young helpless again. At least last game when he was helpless, you could cheer. This one, not much for him. Middleton, Lopez, big man, but a soft baby hook. Got that one to go. He had 33. That's outrageous. Back down the floor. The block on Bogdanovich. Going in for the lay. You're not getting it by big old 1-1. 11's right there. Defensive stalwart. 8 minutes to go. Bucks up 14. I think a lot of this had to do with Sidney Moncrief was in the crowd. I don't know if we get the cutaway there. There's Holiday knocking that bad boy down. Holiday comes through. 13 assists in this one. 25 points. Bucks up 16, and they can kind of walk it home with 2 to play. Holiday splits the defender, and there's Lopez again. Just put it on the roof. I'll get your Frisbee. Bucks win at 123-114. Giannis, not sure we'll see him again for game 6, but the Bucks, 48 minutes from going back to the NBA Finals. I'm not really sure you're going back. It's been 40 years.
Yeah.
Longer than that, 50 years since they've been back there. But nonetheless, Bucks, they were balanced in this game for sure. Thursday, 4 players, better than 20 points, led by Lopez's 33. Combined, those 4 had 106. Bucks, they've kind of been balanced through the postseason. 4th team over the last 25 postseasons to have 4 20-point scorers multiple times during the playoff run. You're going to look to join the Heat, who actually made it to the finals during that season. Naturally, with his 33, Brook gets the Giannis interview spot.
Stephen A. Smith joining us now. So no Giannis, no problem for the Bucks. How was Milwaukee able to win this pivotal Game 5 without their MVP in the game?
Well, the starting lineup showed up. I thought that Bobby Portis was incredible, filling in for Giannis Antetokounmpo, coming up, hitting 9 of 20 shots, hitting 22 points. But the story of the game was Brook Lopez. He was dominant from the start, hitting 14 of 18 shots overall, was being fed adroitly by Drew Holiday, who had 13 assists to go along with his 25 points. We came into the game anticipating that Middleton and Drew Holiday needed to play an exceptional game. Middleton played a good game with his 26 points, hitting 50% of his shots, but Drew Holiday was something special tonight because he was really assisting and getting his teammates involved and being a true point guard. But when you take into account the fact that Brook Lopez, an individual, I got to stand back and give credit where credit is due and just eat some crow here. I didn't think, particularly after watching Game 1, that he would be somebody that could be utilized in this series. I thought they would put him in pick and roll situations defensively. It would really compromise him. As a result, it would get Budenholzer to have to shift him to the bench, and he was going to be a non-factor this series. But he really stepped up big time in a big way tonight. 33 points on 14 of 18 shooting from the field. Just an absolutely spectacular performance on the part of Brook Lopez. Never saw that coming. He played big tonight in every way. He was finishing at the rim. He was a defensive force as well, and he obviously was putting up points. 4 of their starting 5, 22, 25, 26, and 33 points. And, of course, you're not expecting that from P.J. Tucker, who's a defensive ace. And and that's what he did. Just got to give credit where credit is due here. Their starters stepped up, didn't get much production from the bench, didn't need it because Portis filled in admirably, and Brook Lopez played bigger than he's ever played in his career, as far as I'm concerned.
That next man up mentality. Okay, let's talk game 6. What is the key, besides, of course, Trae Young hopefully being in the game for the Hawks to try to keep this season alive?
Well, I think the first things first is you got to hope and pray that Trae Young's going to come back because he's a difference maker. His long-range sniper ability, his cat quickness, his ability to get into the lane, and more importantly, to draw fouls and to put your bigs in compromising situations defensively. That's something that we can't simply minimize. You're going to need Trae Young back. Hopefully, he'll be able to come back. But I think it's a good sign that we saw Bogdanovich drop 28 tonight. Remember, the first 3 games of this series, he was hobbled with that knee injury. But over the last couple of games, he's come on a bit strong and more assertively offensively since Trae Young's gone out of the game. You're getting more offensive production from Lou Williams as well. That's going to have to continue. They're going to have to get a collective effort, and I think John Collins is going to have to get considerably more involved offensively. You need to make sure he gets the ball, him and Gallinari, along with, obviously, Lou Williams and Bogdanovich in the event that Trae Young is not there. They'll feed off the home crowd. They'll be energized. I think a game like tonight ensures that Giannis won't play in Game 6 because if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, why jeopardize it if you don't have to? You want to give him as much rest as you possibly can so he'll be available come NBA Finals if they were to advance past this series. But I think with tonight's win, you ensure he won't be there. So if you're the Atlanta Hawks, you're not expecting to have to worry about him. And as a result, with or without Trae, you have the personnel capable of feeding off of that home crowd because they play better than ATL in some situations than they do on the road. And I think this is going to be one of those situations. And I can completely anticipate a Game 7 taking place because I think Atlanta could win Game 6 Saturday night.
All right. We saw Trae Young warming up pregame. Seemed like he was in pain, couldn't go. If there is any way possible he can go in the next game, he'll sure be there. By the way, I like that you called it ATL. I've been calling it Hotlanta. People in Atlanta don't like that. So I'm going to take that from you, Stephen A. Thanks so much. ATL.
That's what they
Hawks-Bucks Game 5 tonight. The Bucks will be losing a lot of production with the absence of Giannis as the Greek Freak is averaging 28 points, just under 13 rebounds, along with 5 assists in these playoffs. He will be the 10th All-Star to miss time this postseason. Trae Young also questionable to play tonight. The 22-year-old averaging just under 30 points, 10 assists this postseason. Talk about production. Max Kellerman. Yeah. Max, which star return is more important for their respective team in advancing in this series?
The answer is Giannis. I mean, I just saw no Giannis, no Trae Young. What happens? The Hawks won. The Hawks won because Lou Will can do an impersonation of Trae Young. He's a real good scorer, and he was even dishing some assists because Bogdanovich can play, because they have guys, Herter can play, and they have guys who are stepping up. That is not what, look, the Bucks were supposed to have the third and fourth best player in this series. Giannis and Trae Young are the 2 best, and the third and fourth best player were supposed to be Middleton and Drew Holiday. That has not always been the case. The reason, Stephen A., they're not perennial all-stars is because they're not usually great. They are sometimes great. They're usually good, sometimes great. And without Giannis, those 2 especially need to step up. But what happened? Middleton drops 38, looks like MJ one game, and the next night Cam Reddish shuts him down? Can't happen. But it's what happened. Giannis, Stephen A., could have just won his 3rd MVP. The only reason he didn't, because he put up the same numbers he did in back-to-back seasons when he won MVP, is because got a little fatigue giving him back-to-back awards, and we also what happened in the postseason. And that kind of got held against him, because he had the same season 3 years in a row. He is normally a more effective player even than Trae Young, and that's saying a lot. And they need him now more than ever.
We disagree because I believe the Milwaukee Bucks, even without Giannis Antetokounmpo, have the talent and the experience to beat the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young is averaging 32 and 6 this series on 47.9% shooting from the field. Now, I don't know what damn Atlanta Hawks game you watching, but Lou Williams can't imitate that. Not that average. He can have a game, But that's not what Lou Williams does. He can put up buckets, and we've seen him put up buckets in prolific fashion, but not in the last couple of years, not on this level. Trae Young is cat quick. He can pass the ball. He forces you to spread your defense out, opening up lanes for guys on the interior, not to mention creating open shots for other dudes, as opposed to just taking dudes off the dribble one-on-one or catching and shooting like Lou Williams does. Here's the reality of the situation, and this is why I continue to say he's the most important player, because without Trae Young, I don't believe the Hawks have a chance of winning this series. If Trae Young is there, you have a chance even with Giannis healthy. So imagine what chance you'd have without Giannis there. That's how I view it. I think with Middleton and Jrue Holiday, what they're supposed to be, Max, should be enough to beat the Hawks, which is a more accurate way to say that. What they're supposed to be with the Atlanta Hawks. With the Atlanta Hawks, it's all about Trae. If you're talking about getting to the NBA Finals, it's all about Trae.
What they're supposed to be, I agree with you. And that's what I'm challenging. You know, it's not like Collins had a great game last game, but he might be the third best player in the series. Like, you have some guys to choose from. Who's the third or fourth best player in the series? Brand name-wise, it's Middleton and Holiday. They've been around. They've each made at least one All-Star team. Middleton's made two. But in fact, not just by reputation, but in fact, that has not always been the case, even in this series. And that's the problem. Giannis is the guy that makes the Bucks, oh, wait a minute, you got to deal with this. And now, hey, let's get a little contribution from Middleton. We can win this thing. But without Giannis, not only does Middleton have to show up every night, but Jrue Holiday has to take over running the offense. Now, I think they could do it. I thought they could, especially against the team in Atlanta. It's not like they're playing Brooklyn. But they got to do it. They haven't done it so far.
Yeah, but I think that what you're trying to say is that they have to do it, and I'm saying one of them has to do it. If one does it without the other, they could still beat the Hawks. If Trae Young ain't there to do it, they ain't winning. They're not winning.
I think your argument would be...
That's what I'm saying.
I think your argument would be a lot more persuasive, and I might have even agreed with it had I not just seen it in Game 4.
Well, you got to remember. Well, you got to remember, it's a couple of things that happen, right? The Milwaukee Bucks gave up their lead in the first half. And then you remember they came storming back and Giannis was unstoppable. And you sort of got the impression, okay, they stole one from us in Game 1. We stomped them in Game 2. We came back and took Game 3 and reclaimed home court advantage. And not only that, Max Kellerman, even though I know this is not a popular thing to say, Max and Molly, but I'll say it for you anyway.
Okay.
I keep telling y'all, distractions matter. And when you're in a place like the ATL, and you have an off night, Now, it's one thing if you played and you got back-to-back and there's no nights off and then you're flying into that city the same day. But when you got time to hang out in places like the ATL, it might take you a little while to get your game together before you turn on the afterburners. Just trust me on this.
Also, an unpopular thing to say, but let's be honest, both teams need their stars. Let's keep it rolling here, guys. Led by an otherworldly performance from